right, hey everybody, welcome to another playoff preview video. We're going into round 3 versus the Dallas Stars, and once again, Terry's in the house, Raj is in the house. Welcome, guys, and second year in a row against the Dallas Stars. We finally got a schedule here, so we're gonna let everybody know the schedule. First game is coming at you on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, our time, Edmonton time. Followed by Game 2 is on Friday as well at 6 p.m. And Game 3 is going to be a 1 p.m. start, an afternoon game, which hasn't boded too well for the Edmonton Oilers, these afternoon games. So I was a little bit concerned when I saw that start time. And Game 4, back to 6 p.m. on Tuesday. So those are the start times for the series. And as usual, we are going to check out some one of the websites has the odds out out of Vegas, so we'll take a quick look at that. Before we do that, just want to take a quick moment here to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel. Really appreciate it. We've been doing some live streams, we're bringing some different content, so thanks to everybody for subscribing. Approaching 900 subscribers, so shout out to everybody that's done it. And let's get to what Vegas odds are saying. So this one is from Sports Betting Dime, and the Edmonton Oilers are minus 105, gentlemen, and the Dallas Stars are minus 115. So, Terry, you want to break down what that means exactly?
Yeah, to break it down in a nutshell, the Oilers, according to this site, are slight underdogs. I won't say massive underdogs, they're slight underdogs. So essentially what it means is you would have to bet $105 on the Oilers to win $100 back. Or if you wanted to take the Stars and waste your money, you would bet $115 to win 100 back. So a slight favorite for Dallas. A lot of the places have them at a pick'em or a slight favorite for Dallas in the series.
And Raj, once again, we're underdogs on some of these websites. I don't get it. I don't understand how we're underdogs, especially since some of these websites are saying that the Oilers are favored to win the cup, right?
Yeah, I think that's just how it's gonna be. We're gonna beat Dallas, and then we're gonna face whomever in the Stanley Cup. We'll be underdogs again. That's the recurring theme the last couple of years, especially this year, especially against LA. You think like against Vegas, I understand more because we lost to them before. So that's it. This is gonna be a recurring thing. And I think McDavid and Draisaitl love it. They love to prove people wrong. And the line is going to change every day from now till puck drop. And I imagine we're going to remain underdogs on all of these sites.
Well, as the famous quote from Rodney Dangerfield, we can't get no respect here in oil country for some reason, but as usual, we are gonna kick these playoff previews off with everybody kind of giving their take on the series and what their X factors are, and we're gonna kick it off first with the real Terry M. Terry, what are your thoughts on the series and what are your X factors?
I think it's going to be, you talked about a recurring theme over the past couple of years. I think it's going to be the same kind of thing over the past couple of series. Dallas has got a decent defense. They got a good defense. I don't think it's as good as Vegas's was, or even LA's. They have stellar goaltending. But what's going to be, I think, their Achilles heel is their depth. Like they are kind of like what a lot of the analysts were saying the Oilers were in the past couple of years. Right now, on paper, they look fantastic. I mean, when you have players like Tyler Seguin and Jason Robertson and Wyatt Johnson and Matt Duchene and JB Benn, like that's their second and third line. That's not even their top line. And you have players like that for their second, third line. You would think they have a really deep team, but I don't even think their second line has scored a goal this series. Like they're all of their scoring is coming from their top line with Rantanen, Granlund, and Roope Hintz, right? And we've seen what the Oilers, what's happened in the past when you don't have depth, and it's kind of like a flip-flop right now because Oilers have depth all over the place. I was looking at a stat, and I think last year this time, going into the third round, McDavid was part of 47% of the goals the Oilers scored last year. Draisaitl was 52%. I think Evan Bouchard was 43% or something else like that. This year, McDavid leads the team at 40%. Draisaitl's 37%. Bouchard is under 30% at 28%. Like there is a lot of depth on this team, and I think that's what's gonna win it for the Oilers. We talk about it all the time. Once you relieve that pressure off of McDavid and Draisaitl, and you get the scoring from other players like Henrique and Corey Perry and even Janmark, it took the Oilers at 8 or 9 games for every single one of their forwards to score a goal, and that includes Kapanen. That includes Kapanen, who played 2 games or something like that. It took
sure in the last
that
one.
That is unbelievable, right? So that's what it is. I mean, Dallas I don't think is that deep. If the Oilers can shut down their second, third line, I honestly, and I'm going to knock on wood on this one, I don't think it's going to be as tough of a series as we thought it was going to be in Vegas, or it's going to be in LA. Their defense can be exposed. I said this last series against Vegas, and we exposed their defense. Same thing with their defense. Heiskanen was a big comeback for Dallas, but Hartley, I think he's second in scoring for defensemen next to Bouchard, but he's a -5. Bouchard, I think, is a +4. They don't have a defenseman right now that's in plus numbers on their team, and this is a team that's put up 16 or 17 goals against the Vezina Trophy winners, Hellebuck, and they put up a ton of goals last game as well, right? So they can be exposed. The X factor, what it's going to come down to, I think Jake Ottinger. He's probably, I would say, in my opinion, he's been the best goaltender in the playoffs so far. A lot of people would say Freddie Anderson. He's played really well. I would say Jake Ottinger has kept them in the playoffs. If it wasn't for him, I think they would have been bounced maybe even in the first round. Jake Ottinger has been averaging, I think, 27 or 28 saves per game. To put that into perspective, Freddie Anderson is averaging less than 20 saves per game. Like, he is getting pelted with shots, and all that tells me is their defense can be exposed, and there isn't a team in the league that has the offense like the Oilers. So if we can get those kind of shots on Ottinger, I think we can solve them, and I think we can take this series.
Awesome. Raj, your take and your X factors.
Yeah, I was looking at the roster. Dallas has 8 forwards who scored 20 goals or more during the regular season. That is 75% of their forwards having at least 20 goals. That's crazy. And then when you look at their lines 1 through 4, lots of names you recognize, like Terry was saying. But if you break it down to the last 10 games, like Terry said, it's been the first line, and outside the first line, it's only been Wyatt Johnson, who's actually had, I think, 5 goals. Everybody else has been really sluggish, and I don't think they can afford to be like that against the Oilers. The goaltending, yes, he has a great save percentage. 92 goals against is really respectable. But with all due respect to the Jets, they don't have a McDavid and Draisaitl. So that's going to be completely different ball game for Ottinger. The X factor for me is when you look at their lineup, you don't see anybody that intimidates you. So therefore, it has to be Kane and Frederick for us. They absolutely don't have an answer for those two, and
Great point. Yeah.
if they can enforce their will, every shift, forecheck, any opportunity they get to really smack these guys around, that's gonna deflate Dallas because Dallas doesn't have an answer for that physical aspect. Nobody can get as nasty as Kane on their team, and their defense also very soft. Yes, they're skilled. Hiskinen, CC. We love CC for what he did for us last year, but he's never been a physical guy. Even their bottom pair on defense, their third pairing, really nothing to scare you there. So we got to take it to them physically, establish that from the first shift of the first game, with Podkolzin and Frederick and Kane, and I think that's like just gonna really change things around. And I look for the Oilers to make those numbers against Ottinger, inflate a little bit because McDavid and Draisaitl are going to be on a mission. And then the last thing I want to say, we've been playing without our best defenseman. Our number one defenseman we haven't played with all playoffs. So if he comes back this series,
You're talking about the Viking.
Yeah, I mean, he's our best all-around defenseman. So if we get him back, like, wow, we have a huge advantage. I think we're already favored, in my opinion. It's not going to be, a long grind. And then we get a guy like Ekholm back, and that's just going to make us accelerate things even more.
Well, and the crazy thing, Raj, is even if we don't get Ekholm back, I think the Oilers are perfectly fine with playing without Ekholm. Like, they have so much confidence and swagger right now that they would be perfectly fine even if Ekholm couldn't come back this series.
Yeah.
Well, great takes, gentlemen. And for me, as always, it's going to come down to goaltending for the Edmonton Oilers versus Ottinger. I feel, like you guys pointed out, I feel the Oilers have solved Ottinger. We saw it, last year in the playoffs, right? So, he's an unbelievable goalie, but I mean, I just don't think his greatness can measure up with McDavid and Draisaitl. So yeah, it's going to be a tough series for sure. It's not going to be a walk in the park. We'll get to our predictions in a second here. But for me, like I said, it's going to be that physicality factor as well, like you mentioned, Raj. I think that's going to be a big deal. X factor for me, this is going to be a weird one. But I honestly believe that the rest that we had before this series is going to really, really play into effect into this series. We are the oldest team in the NHL. It doesn't look like it because obviously the speed of McDavid, a word that you have used in this episode already, Raj, really inflates the numbers. But everybody's moving, everybody's determined, everybody's hungry. There's times where Brown looks like he's flying as fast as McDavid sometimes, chasing down loose pucks.
And you had Kapanen in there as well. And
Kapanen's flying too. The Jets as well just are on at all times. So for me, this rest factor, when Winnipeg took that series to Game 6, I was like, perfect. You know what I mean? Because I wanted the boys to get some rest, and it's just that wave after wave, which you guys touched on the depth. It's just nonstop, wave after wave from the Oilers. And I think this added rest is really going to, be the tipping point in the matchup here. It's really going to help the Oilers push past them. And we're starting on the road again. And as I've mentioned before, I believe the Oilers starting off on the road is actually a good thing. It didn't work very well against LA in the first round, but against Vegas, they ended up taking 2 on the road. And I think for me, if the Oilers, can split those first two games or even possibly win them both, like, it's going to be huge coming back home. And I think that really is really going to calm the nerves of not just the players and the Oilers, but the fans as well. So, but for me, the biggest X factor is this extra rest that the Oilers got. I think it's going to play huge into this, especially game one. I remember last year, guys, when we played Florida in the finals in game one. Do you remember? Like, the Oilers should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Oilers were just flying, and it's almost like they used up all their energy to split that road series, and then Bobrovsky just stood on his head, right? But I just feel it's going to be like one of those game ones where the Oilers are just crashing, banging, skating, and hopefully are able to solve Ottinger and put a lot of pucks past him, right? So that's my take, gentlemen. And to the best part of this episode, which is our predictions. And we'll kick it off with you, Terry. What are your predictions? How many games? And who's on top?
Well, I just wanted to touch a little bit more on what you guys were saying before I make my prediction here. Roger's 100% right. Like, the Oilers need to be really physical. You didn't even mention Zach Hyman. Dallas could still be beat up. Remember, Robertson just came back from an injury, so who knows if he's 100%. Heiskanen just came back from an injury as well, right? I was hoping maybe against Winnipeg they would go to like a second or third overtime, maybe take it to a game 7, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So I think you're right on the rest part, Rich. The big thing with it is if Oilers can be average, if they can make Jake Ottinger have to make 26, 27 saves a game, that means they're pelting him with 30 plus shots. And you give Oilers 30 plus shots, that means Dallas has to be comfortable with, playing in like 6-5 games like in the LA, or 6-4 high scoring games. Do they have the offense if their first line is running? Yeah, they can. But remember, Dallas, I think, has been shut out 3 times this year. They were shut out in Colorado, and Hellebuck shut them out twice. So I don't think they have the power to keep up with the Oilers if the Oilers can get those shots on them. So I'm going to say Oilers are going to split the first 2 games. They're going to win both at home, and then they're going to take game 5 on the road. I think Oilers are going to win in 5.
Great point and great prediction. I do want to also mention that the Oilers' power play has not been very good in these playoffs, right? So I mean, if their offense can continue to be high octane and producing, and then you add in the power play turning around, that's an extra goal or 2 a game. It'll just support your prediction even more, Terry. Roger.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give a shout out to Bush. Man, last series, not his stick play on defense was absolutely amazing. He's never gonna be over you, but if he's so smart with his stick, it's like he went from average to really solid defensively against Vegas. So Dallas they do have a deep forward group. There's a lot of scorers. So if we can keep that going with Kulak and everybody stepped up against Vegas. So I expect that everybody's gonna do the same and even better. And I think it just feels different. Last year, as good as it was, this year it feels like they're just calm about it. They know what they're doing. They know what to expect. The experience, you can see it. It's amazing,
For sure.
For a fan to be able to see experience gained from last year, that's really, really cool. So I think it's going to be 4 straight, and we'll take another 10 days off before we see the next opponent.
You're bringing out the broom.
Yeah,
brooms, right?
You're bringing out the broom. Attaboy. Sweep time, hey? Attaboy.
You know what, Raj?
I hope so.
And that's not necessarily a crazy pick. Just to touch on what you said, Gut, it's like everybody knows their role on the Oilers this year. You see the confidence in them. I was talking to you about this, Rich, when we were out last time. Look at McDavid. Draisaitl's a little bit more kind of laid back. He's joking around. McDavid is all business. If you see him after the games, you see him in the interviews, he is all business. Like
I've never in my life seen a guy win a playoff series and be so upset. And we played on the last episode after Game 5 against Vegas. We played a clip from the Twitter from Twitter X. And it was just like he was mad in the interview because they questioned the team defense again. And, like I've never seen a player, like you said, so laser focused on winning. And, the veteran, the just all the heartbreak and struggles this team has had going to Game 7 last year and losing. Like you said, Raj, just it feels different as a fan watching it. I mean, we've been watching these guys our whole lives, right? And it just, you feel way more comfortable. I've felt so comfortable since Game 5. I've said it so many times against the LA Kings. I just felt the ice was dramatically tilted in favor of the Oilers. And then they did it again in Game 4 against Vegas. If they play like that, it's going to be very, very difficult to beat the Edmonton Oilers. So I guess that leaves me.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I guess that leaves me here before we get to the outro. But bold prediction, Roger. And I'm going to have to go with you. I feel a sweep coming on. So I'm gonna give you the screen high five there. Man. I feel a sweep. I think it's the Oilers in 4. Call me crazy.
To be completely honest, originally I was gonna take them in 5, but I'm like, Terry took 5, and I don't think it's gonna go 6. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
So then I'm like, okay, let's just go with 4.
The only reason why I took 5 was because Dallas, 6 of their wins this postseason have been at home. They're a good home team, right?
Yes,
so they've they've only won 2 on the road, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll give them some respect. I think they split the first 2, but then I think the Oilers are gonna run away with it.
Hey guys, either way we're good, right?
Yeah.
Either way we're good, and we are 4 wins away from another Stanley Cup final appearance. We gotta go back. And 8 wins away from Lord Stanley. So the pressure's starting to build, but like we've mentioned, the feelings it's just different this year. It feels like destiny, and hopefully they can do it. So that's pretty much it for today's episode, guys. Thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everyone, like I said, that subscribed to the channel. We really appreciate it. We got some live streams coming. Terry, you're going to be handling that, right?
It looks like I am. I've been nominated to do that, so I'm excited.
Right on. And we got some cool other content on the way. I got an unboxing coming up. I got another lucky charm that I'll do that video before this series starts, but wanted to get this playoff preview going. So great job, gentlemen, as always. And we've been pretty lucky with these playoff previews, so hopefully the luck continues. And shout out to just all the Oiler fans. I think this is our year, and let's just keep rolling, as Evander Kane mentioned in one of his tweets. He had a tweet, keep rolling. So let's just keep rolling. And that's it. Thanks, guys. And most importantly,
go Oilers, go.
Let's go.
Oilers, go. All right. Cheers, boys.
Bye.
Hockey, the channel you need. Oilers on the ice, unstoppable speed. Chasing the cup, we're gonna succeed. With David leading, we're built to exceed.